Yeah. Your boo sessions.
Mm-mm. No.
All right,
No.
everybody, what's going on? What's going on?
Hey, oh, hey. Mm.
What up, though? What up, though?
Little girl.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It. As you can see, our fearless leader, DJ Sink, is not with us. He's taking a hiatus because he's probably one of the hardest working DJs in Detroit right now. So he's out here doing this thing. But that doesn't mean the show can't go on. So I'm here with my amazing co-host, the one and only Miss KD. She's was so gracious to join us tonight. And of course, everyone's favorite. You know, he has his millions and millions of J-Monians. Those are his fans. So give it up to the freshest dude on the podcast, J Mo.
That's funny. What up, though?
And I'm your host, Gigs, the professional, man. I'm just always doing something. So but we're not going to belabor the moment tonight. We're going to have a cool conversation. But before we get into that, does anybody have anything that they want to just get off your chest? You know what I'm saying? It's only Tuesday, so the week hasn't gotten too crazy yet, hopefully. But if there's some things you want to talk about, you know, let's get your shit off.
Ladies,
Um, Ladies first.
Yes, of course.
Well, it is the 23rd of July, which means we are now 3 weeks away from a great celebration in the city of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Mm.
And I just want y'all to know, don't worry about having a session boo. If you don't have one, it's gonna
Won't
be easy for you to get one,
won't
okay? Don't
won't be
worry about it.
provided for you.
It want to be provided for you. You could find one, pick it up off the street.
Pick it up off the
Some of them
street.
gonna get dumped right before session. It's okay.
Oh,
Like if you don't have one now, don't worry about it. You got plenty of time.
you, you said it.
Meanwhile,
You
people
said,
like me, I'm just worried about packing my suitcases and
so,
make sure I meet the 50-pound thing because
yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
that's a struggle.
Y'all
That
women
50
and,
pound limit
y'all clothes and makeup and accessories and
for sure. 100% shoes,
I don't even
accessories,
understand what be
makeup.
like for real though, like on some real shit. Like y'all sundresses be thin. It's about to be hot as hell in New Orleans. Y'all wear shorts,
Hmm.
sundresses,
Hmm.
sandals. Y'all got your feet out, so y'all don't really wear gym shoes like that. So
Hmm.
like, what the hell be weighing so damn much?
Because it'd be 3 sundresses a day. You got to have 2 to 3 outfits per day. What you
why?
wear walking around in hot, humid New Orleans during the day, you cannot wear to the events and festivities in the evening. You have to shower at least twice
Okay,
with soap.
I
Yeah,
get that.
please, please.
Yeah, please. First of all, please. But I mean, I get that. I mean, but shit, though. I mean, we still talking about 3 or 4 sundresses a day. I mean, you look. I ain't got that issue because uh, she going down a few days down there before mine, so she don't meet that 50 pound requirement. Hey, that's on her. When she leave back Friday, hey, I found this nice little travel backpack that
Hmm.
fits so much that I ordered that, and I got a duffel bag with the garment thing. Them the two things I'm caring about, and I'm be able to care about. So many dry fit polos for the session. I'm not bringing a walking
Hmm.
shirt. Of course, I'm gonna rock some of the Q Sci Fi. So guess what? I ain't got no problem. Hey, I made my little thing with Spirit. I got the thing where I could do the the carry on and my personal. So guess what? If she don't make the 50 coming back, that's on her as well. You know damn well not to carry all that goddamn shit. And half the time there's not even gonna be one.
That'd be the
Bring it.
part.
Now
That'd be the
that
part.
be the truth.
That'd be the part. Like, don't let this
That
shit
be the
get worn.
truth.
Bringing about 3 or 4 wedge heels and everything, and they all different shades of. It's 2 white ones. Well, I mean, a white, a off white, and a tan, and a black. Nick,
You got the colors
Well, you
down,
know
Jay.
she got to have the white ones because the
she,
meekness.
she's not even registering.
Oh, well, okay. I tried. I tried.
Oh
I
man,
tried.
see, this is welcome to Married Life, and that's kind of where we're kind of going with things tonight. On tonight's show, where as you saw in the title, and some people had some questions like, why is the caption "Love versus Survival"? And so, I caught this particular topic off one of my sister's page. So shout out to Latisse. I don't want to, not give credit where credit is due. But she did make a post, and I thought it was really intriguing. And it was simply, should people who were raised in a house of love, right? You see love being exchanged. You tell each other, "I love you" to your mom, your dad, your sisters, your brother. It's y'all hug, y'all are physical in that regard. Should people like that, who come from a home of that or that lifestyle, date someone who does not come from a lifestyle like that, who come from maybe a life of survival? Maybe you have, we know single parent households, but predominantly single mothers. Mom is working so much, she may not have time to date. She may not have time to have a relationship. So you never see that interaction. She's probably going to do that away from you as a child because, she doesn't want to bring in just everybody around her child. So a lot of children kind of grow up with the mentality of like, okay, I don't have that whole lovey-dovey aspect to me. I've never seen it. I've never really experienced it. And so because they've never seen or experienced it, they go out into the dating world and they think this is how things should be. And when they run across a lot of people who want or desire a lovey-dovey, physical touch, we're telling each other we love you, we're sharing, we're doing all this communicating, and we're, having all this. Should they date? Are they compatible? And is that a dating question that we should start asking nowadays? So, what are your thoughts?
So for me, in any relationship, there are conversations that have to be had, like at the top, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And everybody talks about, those things like money. You had the conversation about money. You have conversations about your upbringing and all that stuff. And this comes up in the upbringing conversation.
Mm.
But a lot of people skip those conversations. It's just, can we get to the good part? And that's where the first mess up is that you really need to have the conversation about upbringing, because those two types of people, their brains are completely different. The way they see things are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a conversation that needs to be continually had if people are really going to engage in a relationship with someone who grew up differently. I've dated guys before who grew up differently than me, because I grew up in a 2-parent household, both of them college graduates and decent earners. And my mom was very affectionate. My father kind of, but in a different way, right? He provided,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was his way of showing affection. He wasn't really a hugger or anything, but my mom was over huggy, right? So
Okay.
we all feel that we grew up in a family full of love. And I've dated guys who did not. And it really came up when I felt my needs were not being met. Because growing up in a household like that, my needs on a romantic side are going to match that. So you talk about the 5 love languages and all that stuff, and physical touch is like my one.
Okay.
That is my one. I like quality time and I like physical touch. And that comes from my upbringing. Other people, like I've ran into it with guys who I've dated who have had a different upbringing than me, where acts of service, are the thing that shows love. And so that's going to be a conversation. I think they should date because it opens up a new world for both of them. But there has to be a level of openness, I think, for both sets of people.
Okay. J-Mo, what you got for me, dog?
Everything Katie said, I pretty much agree with. I mean, because I'm looking at back, you know, because I came from a 2-parent home, but my folks, I'm not gonna. They wasn't really the most affectionate, but maybe but it was not because they didn't like each other though, but it was they had 2 different shifts. They worked 2 different shifts. So when I'm in school, so like I remember, like my mother would work midnights or something, and my dad would work afternoons. So at that time where they're together or whatever, I wasn't there. You know, I'm in school or doing something else or whatever. So, but and the times that I did see, you know, they was never both of them never seemed to be public displays of affection. So, you know, so in turn, you know, I'm really not. I mean, you know, I'll do the holding the hand in public, but you know, I'm not all the walking, holding hands, and then turn around and kissing like it's a Hallmark story or something like that, or whatever. But and I'll just say, just like just some like women know I may have dated in the past. You know, maybe like some that came from 2-parent homes where they where there was some type of affection, or I have some that was in single-parent homes. You know, and you know dealing with the dynamic. I remember I had one who just was like raised with her dad, so her whole mental was that of the
Oh,
dude.
God, yeah. Now, how does that
Well,
work for you, though?
I mean, well, you know her. You know what? It wasn't even. It was strange. You know, because it felt like not only because it was she had the attitude of a man, she was also competitive.
Mm.
So it's just like it turned more competitive. Like, hey, shit, like, damn, man, you gotta try to outdo me. Then I gotta try to. It came perfect to the point where it's just like someone gonna have to tap out mentally
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So I mean, that would happen, but you know, it is what it is. But now, compared to where I am now, you know, she was with both her. Not to run her whole. She came from Drea come from a 2-parent home, but her dynamic was much different than mine. So you know, but her mom always showed her love and affection. You know, her dad always did his thing or whatever, and his was more of just providing. You know, a little acts as Katie said, his acts of service was the way that he showed love.
Yeah, I mean, because that's kind of the thing, like, right, for guys, you know, we're kind of always taught to be providers, protectors. So those are like our acts of service. You know, we make sure the cars are, you know, taken care of in case there's a flat or, you know, oil changes and things of that nature. So, you know, a lot of us is like, well, look, I pay the bills. I make sure you guys have, you know, accessibility, the resources that you all need to, you know, that's me showing that I love you.
Yeah.
You know, and if you guys ever seen the movie Fences, you know, whether you saw the one with James Earl Jones or Denzel, you know, there's that one pivotal scene where he's like, you know, you don't even like me. He's like, well, like you, I don't have to like you. You know, I have to love you. I have to take care of you. I have to do those things. And so, like, men, we're kind of preconditioned to be a certain way. And then there's also a dynamic where, you know, we perceive women to be a certain way. So our expectations, especially if you have a young boy who's raised by a single mother, he's used to seeing mom take care of everything. That's what he's used to seeing. So when he goes out into the world of dating, and now I won't even say he's a teenager, but let's just say he's in his mid-20s. He's so used to seeing, you know, women take care of stuff that he feel like he doesn't have to do anything, because a lot of times mothers tend to make their sons almost like their pseudo husbands in a way. And I've seen it where, you know, it can become a very I hate to use the word toxic because that's so overused nowadays, but it just becomes a very convoluted, I would say,
Unhealthy. It's
unhealthy,
unhealthy.
It's
yes,
very
an unhealthy relationship. And so now you have this grown man, or the man, he's definitely, as he's maturing, his perception of how do I interact, and that's one of the things that we don't do in a Black household. A lot of times we don't really talk about dating and showing affection. It's more like, as a young man, I can speak for myself. I was raised by my grandparents, 2-parent household, but my grandparents were retired, and they were much older. So I got the chivalry lessons, hey, open the car doors, you walk on the you make sure she's on the inside, you do those acts of chivalry. Sure. But that's not telling me how to communicate and deal with a woman, though. Like, that's not teaching. And if I'm at school and I don't see that, then it becomes very difficult now when I'm trying to go out and make my own life for myself and trying to navigate this whole dating world. And now women are having these expectations of us as men to come with, oh, I need you to be able to do this, or why aren't you affectionate? Why don't you ever just, like, I call you just to do this. Why don't you do that? Well, because don't like it's and women think that we're being mean or nonchalant, but it's like we really don't understand. We really don't understand what you're talking about because we don't
Right.
You're really only going off of what you know or what you've seen or what you've been taught, and then when you in your mid to late 30s, early mid to late 40s or whatever, I mean, it's ingrained in you, and now, and of course, everything is about evolution. Yeah, you can. I mean, relearning things. I mean, you always learning and relearning things, but there's some things that that you may try or whatever, but but your partner or whatnot, he or she will have to just be while you're going through that phase of relearning. They're gonna have to be patient with it. And I just think that a lot of people now don't have a lot of patience.
True.
It's
Very
one of
true,
those
bro.
one of those. You can't take 40 something years of what you've been doing and just turn that into to fit what
You need.
to fit what you need. That's not going to happen overnight. That's not even going to. That may take years. Or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
So,
Like KD said, I think she made a good point earlier. She said you have to be open. You have to be open to having those conversations and open to doing that. And a lot of people, especially men, we always feel like women are trying to change us. Like, they're trying to fix us. And a lot of women, quiet as kept, they have that mentality like, oh, he's good. If he just around me long enough, I can fix it. So, Katie, speak to that. How do you?
First of all, no, sis, you can't fix it. No, like, no bull. You can't fix it. No, it's not. And in most cases, it's not something to be fixed because you see it all the time on Facebook. You do what you want to do for who you want to do it for, right?
Yeah.
But for me, what it is, and you talk about how a lot of men, and it is very common that men are more acts of service based. But one of my old pastors said something when he talked about when he had first got married to his wife and they were experiencing issues. And he said, I had to learn to love her the way she wants to be loved, not the way I want to love her.
Mm-hmm.
And we really missed the mark on that a lot, right? Because when I say what I need the physical touch. I need your time. Like, I am a needy person. I need to see you. I want to be up under you. I want to smell you. All of that, right?
Right.
But that may not be how you receive love. And so now I have to turn myself into a person who gives you love the way you receive love. And sometimes the way your significant other might receive love is totally different
Mm-hmm.
than
Mm-hmm.
the way you receive love. And so, like, for a lot of men coming, if you're in a like relationship where y'all are living together, coming home to a clean house, a cooked meal, and it's a very traditional value,
Mm-hmm.
but it's how they receive love. I done had a hard day work. Now I come home and this house clean, it's peaceful. I get to eat, get to watch my little game. To a man, he might take that as, damn, she loved me a lot. Right? They
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's some bull crap. But for that man, or even sometimes that woman, they might take that as what they need. And so I think we miss the buck trying to love people the way we want to be loved instead of trying to understand the way they want to be loved.
But even in that though, like, so to your point, the way that you need to be loved, if I'm not versed in that, right? So for example, if a person likes physical touch and like most men, it's like, okay, we hear physical touch, it's like sex.
It's
Sex.
sex.
So it's
It is
like,
sex.
okay, so we trying to take it somewhere, even if it's just a kiss,
Right.
and it's a point to it. We're trying to get to
Right.
the honey pot.
Mhm.
So you know what I mean? But that may not be what and this
Mm-mm.
is where people have to start learning intimacy on a different level of what that really
Mhm.
means, and how to navigate that, knowing when and when not to. But yeah, so I think part of the part of the equation is you have to be willing to learn. And
Mm.
a lot of us, I could speak for myself, J-Mo, you might have some of the same experiences. So a lot of the knowledge that we get as men, we get from our uncles, we get from the dudes down the street, what I'm saying, the dudes but we want to be like them.
Actually, low key, sometimes movies.
Movies, oh yeah, movies, music, because it's like we want to live the life that these men are living. We see the dude down the street, he got the fly ass car, he got some bad chicks, saying all the time. We always see him, he got money. So we want to be like him. And so we're trying to emulate that. We, like J-Mo said, even in movies, we see, different characters. We like, yeah, what I'm saying, I want to be the dope boy because shit, you got money, you could get whatever you want to get. And so, and people kind of bow down and do whatever you want them to do. And so we start going up with these distorted views of some things. Even some women, like, once again, for you all, you guys are raised up on Disney movies, Prince Charming. Oh, this guy's going to come on this white horse, or he's going to come rescue you from your problem, and he's going to treat you like this amazing princess. And it's just like, and
that's not real life.
It's not real at all. There's elements of it to it, sure, but the whole depiction of it is distorted. And so when you don't see that in your own household, what that really looks like, so when you're coming from a person where like, okay, well, my mom had to, she had to work 2 and 3 jobs just to provide for me, my brother, and my sister. And then I had to go out here and try to help her because I got tired of seeing my mom crying because she had to pay bills. And, I remember one time I saw this one dude jump on my mom and I swear never again, So we have that trauma, and then we're trying to come out here and then trying to date. These are the things that we're bringing into a relationship, and we're not listening because you come from a loving relationship where it's like, well, that's not my experience. That's almost like the whole Fresh Prince of Bel-Air syndrome where you have Will versus Carlton. It's like, okay, we're both black, but our black experiences are completely different. Completely different. But can we, or should we even try to date each other? Or is it better that we just stay with our own kind, so to speak?
Well, my thing is, how does either side get better, and how does either side develop the skills that are learned? Because there are some things that are learned on both sides. Like folks that grow up in a survival mindset, hell yes, a lot of trauma there. Definitely need to seek therapy, and not like just trying to play at it, because you need to work through all of that. Because it's not that you're broken, it's just you only saw one part of life. And so now you have to rework your brain chemistry to see the other part, right? And it goes both ways.
Yeah, definitely go both ways.
It goes both ways. But there are some skills learned when you are only in survival mode. Like there's a level of grit.
Yeah.
There's a level of resilience that's developed and learned that isn't learned on a side where you had more of a cushy life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get that resilience if you fall on your behind. But that's I don't think that the two should stay separate. Is it a lot of work if you want to get someone from one side of the tracks and somebody from the other side of the tracks to come together and build a healthy whole relationship? Hell yeah. And it's not work. It can't be work on one side.
True.
Right.
It's got to be work on both sides. It gets even stickier, and we're older now, y'all. Like the chance of us dating somebody who ain't got kids is like getting down there, right? It's starting to get down there if it's not zero, right?
Pretty much.
And so those skill sets and the way you were loved or the way you grew up in survival are going to show in the way you parent your children. And so that's a situation I've also dealt with where I've seen something and I'm just like, I don't like the way he does that with his son. It's like one guy I was dating, he had a way he said, you protect your daughters and you raise your sons or something like that. And I'm just like, but you like being super hard on your son. Like the way he would talk to them in the same car, his voice is totally different. And I'm just sitting here like, this is crazy. There's like no balance there, right? And so I think that's the other part is that when the two come together, they create a level of balance. But they got to get their shit together between each other before they bring kids into the picture, or it's going to be a big mess.
True story. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different, like I said, there's a lot of different nuances to when it comes to dating that I think we, skip over. And I think we weren't privy to, as we're growing up, like when we're 16, 17 years old, when we're first starting to date for real. And yeah, it's funny games. And it's like, I like you, you like me, that time's goofy shit. You know what I mean? But then like, you need to start seeing like, okay, like the skills and how you conduct yourself. You have to start to understand the nature of a person, right? And just like the sex of a woman, like in the sense of she's going to be more emotional. So you're going to be able to adopt that and say like, okay, when she comes crying to you, you can't be like, you can't give her you can't give her the Kobe Bryant speech like, hey man, you got to have a mama mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she gonna be looking at you like, what? But and it's funny because like even myself, like I remember I told a girl once I was dating, I said, if you want to complain about it, call your girlfriends. If you want your problem fixed, call me. And
that didn't end well, did it?
I thought it was fine. I didn't have any problem with it.
That was very toxic.
And so here's where like communication is key. It's not that was wrong.
It's not.
It's that it wasn't prefaced the right way. The way that could easily be solved is asking the question: do you want a vent or do you want a solution?
You want to go to jail? You want to go home? Got it.
It's like, do you like seriously? Like your girl come, your dude come, really with women. Like, she come crying to you is okay. Do you want me to be able to a shoulder to cry on, or do you want the solution? That tells you as a man exactly where you need to be as to not cause issues. And some men don't even know. There's like the emotional intelligence isn't quite there. They don't know to ask that question.
But we can't because what we get? Y'all supposed to know.
Oh, that's childish.
I concur.
Sorry.
I concur. But there's like
ain't nobody a mind reader over here. I am not Miss Cleo. Call me now.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that, you know, when you have people who come from a certain mentality, like their natural instinct is to just to go to a certain place. Like you said,
Yeah.
somebody who's based out of survival, like, I don't have time for your tears because tears ain't gonna fix the problem. I got to figure out a solution. Whereas, like, and then the other person's thinking, like, well, you're so cold and you're so mean, you're nonchalant, you don't love me, you know, you getting all this stuff. And it's like, what do you mean I don't love you? Like, I just did this for you the other day. What do you mean? You know, now you're being over dramatic, and then now the words are starting to fly, and we all know how this ends up. So, you know, and that's the thing, is it's really kind of difficult. So we need to kind of, I guess, as a collective, figure out, like, how do we start bridging these conversations. I think that's where it starts in the beginning, when you first start realizing that you want to take things to a place where it's like, okay, we're no longer just casually dating and we want to be an exclusive thing. Then we need to start setting some norms and start figuring some things out and start asking those real questions before you even decide this is what we want to do, because I think it would just save a whole lot of issues in the long run.
Definitely agree. Starts with conversation.
No,
And,
go ahead,
and
Jamal.
starts with conversation, and then we also need to stop having these. I'm not gonna say unrealistic. We got to stop having these expectations of one another without the with without the conversation, because that happens a lot as well.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Like
sir.
expecting, like, let's say hypothetically, me and KD dating. I'm expecting her to be this one way. She's expecting me to be a certain way, and there's no conversations, and then we're just arguing back and forth with each other.
It's a cold war.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and that's a really a thing, because, you know, everybody has an expectation of what a man should be, what a woman should be, blah blah blah. Because based on, as we just aforementioned, whatever happened growing up, this is what we saw, and these are our expectations. But I think when it comes to dating and you're trying to get to know a person, like, we really have to kind of really start to drop our guards and just really be honest about the situation. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, look, this is where I am. But the real question is now, how much time do you give a person? Because, like J Mo said earlier, you know, if I've been doing my life this way for 20 plus years, and here your happy butt comes along into my life, and now I'm like all in love and smitten, and like, damn, I don't want to lose her, but shit, she's asking me for stuff that I just don't know how to do, and I'm trying to figure it out. How much time as a woman do you give a man? And for a man, like, how much time do we give a woman to adopt to, or adapt to our situation?
I don't even think it's really adapt, because at the same time, you know, uh, especially like in a married situation, man, you learn it. I mean, you're gonna be learning each other basically to either you divorce or death do you part. I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
like something that I may like not that I might like now, shit, 3 years from now I may not even like or whatever. And let's say my wife is so used to this, and then all of a sudden, not that is even a cold, like a left turkey turn situation or whatever. It could have been just gradually this change or whatever that maybe she may have noticed or maybe not. But you know, let's say whatever the change was and that she's not used to it or whatever. I mean, but you know, it is that she will have to adapt to it eventually. You know, she will have to, you know, it all starts with learning. Well, like, well, she could be like, well, why you don't like this no more? You know, I say, I may just not be feeling it no more.
Yeah, I agree with. And that's one thing, I had to learn, as I've been matriculating through the dating years, is that like you knew who I was when I met you. You know, saying like that's a poor.
That you know who I was when you got here.
Exactly, you know, what I'm saying
it's bull crap. It's
because
bull crap because we are not who we were.
I'm not the same.
Ago.
I'm not the same person I was at 15. I shouldn't be. If I'm the same person I'm at 40 as I was at 15, that's the motherfucking problem. You know what I mean? And so, a lot of times, I always use the analogy of like, why do we have rear tail lights on our vehicles, right? And the reason why you have, because like, why can't you just tell that the car in front of you is slowing down or stopping? Why can't you just say, why do you need the lights to but it's perspective. It's because we're moving on the same plane. We're right, we're so close to each other. Sometimes we can't see that the person is changing right before our very eyes. But people on the outside can see like, oh, KD ain't, she ain't out there like that no more. She's not hanging out. She's not doing this. She's a little bit more quiet. Is she all right? And it's like, well, but the person you've been dating may not even really have picked up on that because they see you so much on the day-to-day that they're not even processing everything. And so sometimes you do need to have those check-ins with people and to say like, hey, really like what's new? What's something that's, hey, in the next 5 years, what are you looking to do? Because that's another thing too. Like we just do stuff. We act on an island and then we expect our person, no plan, and our person, we just expect our person just to just come along for the ride. Right. And it's like, well, how do you know that this is even where I'm trying to go with you? And this is before marriage, people. So, but definitely in marriage, you should have these conversations. But this is more so for people before you get married. So yeah, I think those are some things.
I think, and I think this is like a Black culture thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that Black people, and when we talk about Black love, we're going through this change, right? And you can see it where we are starting to gain access to vocabulary that we didn't have growing up, right?
True story.
And I think like people forget, like you can't explain your trauma. Like when you think like a little kid, they can't explain where they're hurt if they don't have the vocabulary to say, I hit my elbow. Especially if we're talking like in like the extreme abuse situations, like my parents teach kids medical terms, right? So if they're ever hurting these medical areas, they can say I was hurt in this area. Right. And so I think Black people as a culture, we're opening ourselves up to therapy and getting some more emotional intelligence about ourselves because we were consistently with grandma, grandpa, dad, who came from the South, that washed the car. I loved you. I pay the bills. That's how I show you I love you. And we're starting to listen to each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because there was an era, where grandma, even mama, just accepted that he wasn't gonna give her a hug when he came through the door. And we're at a point where we're not accepting that. So I think the fact that we're developing the vocabulary to explain how we feel and what we want our relationships, one, and two, to really be open to sit down and say, wait a minute, this wasn't right. Right? It worked.
But that don't mean it was right.
It wasn't right.
But that don't mean it was right.
Absolutely.
And I think we're getting to a point where Black people in general are starting to understand that, yes, we have to be strong all the doggone time. Yes, it's the weight of the world is heavy. But when you get into a relationship, you're supposed to be able to converse with each other, to share about who you are, what you are, all the way down to them ugly, nasty secrets.
Oof,
and
No, bury me
That
with
person is supposed to share the weight with you,
Bob.
right? But that person is also supposed to help you grow. So this
Yeah.
is circling back to where you were talking about the fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily fixing, because a man can look at me and say, oh, she a good woman. I just need to fix a few things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And women do this all the time with men, to fix up men. Girls, stop doing that, first of all.
Right.
Second of all, it's not a fix. It's you exposing people to a new way of life. It's gonna be hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be easy for someone. If you have someone who listen to nothing but rap their whole life, and you take them to an Anita Baker concert,
It's boring.
it's boring, right? But it's all about exposure. That's, you didn't do the pre-work. The pre-work was playing it in the house and in the car to get that person acclimated to that. So
Yeah.
that's the conversation in relationships. Why don't you hold my hand? Why don't you come in and give me a hug? Why don't you touch me? Did you tell that? Did you do some pre-work? Did you tell that person that that's what you like? Did you send the reels from Facebook of the man doing what you like? Like,
But you
I
also
hate to
have
say
to.
this, but men are simple. Tell them what you want, girl.
We
Mm-hmm.
are. We truly are. I mean, and the thing is, I think one of the big things is that, like, you're absolutely right, Katie. You got to tell us what you want. But the other part of it too, because we're gonna have to make a decision whether it's worth us giving it to you or not.
Mhm.
We got to make that
Yeah.
choice. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, it goes back to your point you made at the top of the show. You know, you're gonna do for people who you want to do it for. And that's one of the things, one of the traits, and I'm gonna give you all this gem, ladies, things that men want that they don't really tell you. And it's kind of hinged upon this conversation. Men want a woman that's going to inspire them to be great. If you ever watched the show Power, if you watch the first season of Power, you see, Ghost has a relationship with his wife Tasha, but he also has his old flame that he never really had closure with, Angela. And there's a scene where it says, when Ghost asked Tasha, what did you think I was going to be? And she said, the biggest goddamn drug dealer in America. And he's like, is that all that you could see? She was like, well, what else is there? That was the moment where Tasha lost her husband. It wasn't the fact that Ghost cheated and, that was wrong and that was a part of it. But
that was his little toppings.
Yeah, exactly. That was the cherry on the top. But the root of it was she didn't inspire him to be more than what he already wanted for himself. He just wanted his woman to back him and to be that inspiration to be better. Angela provided that for him, and that's what sent him that direction. So I'm telling y'all that to say, like, but men, you also have to be willing to be inspired. You also have to have goals and aspirations. If you don't have any goals or aspirations, you can't lead a woman. You can't. Because where are you leading her to if you don't even have anything for yourself? So the objective is, I think, and to your point, Katie, I think that, you want to actually not necessarily try to fix him, but push him. Like, hey, okay, I know you want to go back to school. I know you want to get your master's. I know you wanted to, apply for this job. Do you need me to help you study? Let's book a night. Let's make one of our date nights this week, just helping you study. For an hour, I help you study, and then we can watch the movie we want to watch. Boom. Like, you've conquered both sides. Now you pushed him to his goal, and then now he feels good that, damn, my girl supported me. You know what I'm saying? Like, now when I kick back watching this movie with her, I'm more affectionate to her because she just poured into me.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. It's certain things that we just have to just start understanding. It's making minute adjustments, not necessarily trying to fix a person, because if you have to fix them, then you probably shouldn't be with them. Let them go get themselves fixed on their own, and then you can just keep up with the maintenance, so to speak.
Yeah, because
Right. I think the other thing that you need to look at though with that is that you can't pour into someone that's got the lid on the bottom. Okay.
Good analogy.
And so when we are pouring into people, trying to make them better because we know they have more in them, if they're not receptive to it, you have to be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you have to look internally and say, do I need to say or do I need to move on?
Right.
Because out of all of this, progression is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of that is while it is right, most men love to be inspired,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you see their greatness. I think the other part of that is that women can't pour from an empty vessel.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So sometimes that affection got to come first. And so I think those are the things that you have to pay attention to. That's when you really have to pay attention to your partner. Because if your girl is out here working hard and doing all this extra stuff and struggling at work or whatever, and she come home empty, you really think she's gonna be able to inspire you?
No, not at all.
No.
And so that's when it's a man's job to kind of say, all right, let me give her a minute. Let me pour a little bit out. I know I'm gonna get it back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we get stuck on what feeds us and not really looking at the other half and saying what feeds the other person. We miss those cues. I'm over here empty. I'm trying to do all this stuff. Well, I am too. And that's when
I hate you, Jody. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
That's
we're
what-
not seeing the other person.
Yeah.
We only seeing the work that we doing. We not seeing the work of the other person. And
Yeah.
Shanice dropped something in the chat. Like they don't want to receive it from you, but willing to receive it for someone else. And we talked about Ghost from Power.
We talked about what?
We talked about Ghost and Angela.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
And to that point, Shanice, I say this.
But in what I mean, before you go on, but from what she's saying, Ghost was willing to receive it, but Angela, I mean not Angela,
Tasha.
but Tasha,
Tasha wasn't giving it.
yeah, she wasn't giving it.
Right. And I see that. But to Shanice's point, I say this. When you are willing to pour into someone, and I said this, the cap has to be off the bottle. If they are not open to receive anything from you, that's because they've made a choice. Right? Either a choice not to be open to change or a choice to not want to deal with you. And it's very clear. It's not even a question. Right? And so there's more to that situation than them just not receiving it from you now.
Yeah, because it could.
They've made a clear choice.
And it could be because of the way you present it.
Mm-hmm.
The way you talk to a person. You know, like there's ways that like our homeboys, the bros, we talk to each other versus when we with our wives or girlfriends. Like we're not expecting you to talk to us the same way that the fellas talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so if you're trying to like, you know, hey, J-Mo could tell me like, Gigs, man, you being soft, dog. Get your shit together. You know, I'm like, damn, dog. All right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my boy. But if my girl tell me that, and you acting like a bitch, hold on, who the fuck? Like now it's you didn't hit a different switch. You know what I'm saying? Now my inner Ike is wanna, you know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not condoning domestic violence. But just gotta say that for the record. But and I think that's a part of the inspiration part, is because you have to know how to inspire. And it's one of those things, like, you know, especially you mothers, especially if you have multiple children, you know, you can't talk to all your children the same way. Like, you could talk to one this way because, you know, like, hey, I can just say, hey, all right, that's enough. And they get it. The other one, I might have to put some fire to them because they just hard-headed. And you just know, like, you're going to push me to that edge. And then there's other ones you can just give a look to and they like, all right, I'm off of it. So I think it goes the same way when you're dealing with your person. You have to understand how to communicate. You have to figure out your communication language with that person so they can receive it. And you got to be able to sometimes read the room. Sometimes it's not even just what you say, is when you say, like, look, you just know I just came home from, I don't want to hear this right now. Give me a minute. Let me decompress. Let me eat. Let me remember what my actual name is. And I'm not at work. And then bring the issue to me so we can have a conversation. But I come through the door. So what's this I hear? Okay, wait a minute. I'm about to go back to work at this point. Like, I don't even want to be here. I was better off at the job. So I think that could be a part of the reason why they're not so receptive to your inspiration, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It really is a thing. And to your point, and it's crazy. I see like some of these reels be all cap, and then some of them really be pushing some good stuff. It's like, and I saw this one from a psychologist that said, you really don't have a problem with your partner, you hungry. You really don't have a problem with your partner, you overwhelmed from work, right? And we have to respect that from each other and understand that maybe we need to take care of. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? If you are hungry, you are not functioning at the top of the pyramid.
Nope.
Right?
The only thing you can think about is your hunger.
All you thinking about is that you hungry, that you sleepy, you tired. And so we need to learn to address some of those, like our most primal needs sometimes first, before we try and be our high functioning selves, having relationships with a whole number of human being with different thought patterns. Right?
Absolutely. That's 100 on that one. Yeah, I think it's one of those, and that's, you know, an aspect I never really even considered like that, but I'm glad you brought it up because if your basic needs, you know, aren't met, then I can't give you anything because it's like my basic is not even, you know, up to par right now. So if you can get me at a foundational level, then yeah, I might be able to work something out with you. But until that happens, listen, I ain't got nothing for you.
Lunch home all day. You want to talk to me? Yeah. Girl, I'm hungry.
Charles, your lunch is
go in there and make me a sandwich.
Damn it. Oh man. Danielle says after asking for so long, then you get tired and you check out mentally. Yeah, I think you do eventually have to realize that a person at some point is not going to be, as KD say, receptive or take the lid off, so you can do it, you know. And if once you realize that this person, that's just who they are, like my Angelo said, you know, treat them how, if they tell you this is who they are, believe them. Like, this is who they are. Yep. Like, okay, and if that doesn't vibe with you, you have to be prepared within yourself to walk away. And that's the hard part, is because you want it so bad because you see the potential, but it's like, if only one person sees it,
if they don't see it within themselves, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. There. It's not there. It's not really there, and you fooling yourself. Or you're going to end up pulling them up, and then it's like, you know, you're going to pull yourself under, you know, trying to push someone else up, and then you're going to look up and you're like, what happened to my life?
And or he may resent, or he may get resentful and then say you was trying to change him.
Yep. There you go, J-Mo. There it is. So I hope this was a healthy discussion for a lot of people, man. You know, I had a a good time discussing this. Got some insight from my homegirl KD as always. And of course my dog J-Mo always coming up with the other side of things sometimes that we don't always want to share, but it's the truth nonetheless. Sometimes it's just, hey, I'm gonna end up feeling like you trying to change me and I'm gonna just leave you. I'm gonna resent you. And those are real things. Those are real problems. So definitely, once again, shout out to everyone who watched tonight, everyone who's been who's put something in the chat. Hope you guys got something. For those who didn't chat, and we'll be coming back to you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. right here. So for those who know us from the House of Sync group on Facebook, we are no longer broadcasting on the House of Sync because Facebook be hating. So we're going to be here now on YouTube, 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Sync is going to be away for a while he recuperates and tries to find him some rest in between all the gigs and all the stuff he's got going on, but he's still with us in spirit. So he'll be joining us sooner than later. But until then, J-Mo and I and possibly KD and some others will definitely keep you guys plugged in to all the different things. If you guys have any comments, any topics you guys want us to discuss, definitely let it be known in the House of Sync, and we'll make sure to consider it. Anything else, anybody?
Any negative feedback, send it to Gigs
Let's
email.
talk about all y'all. What he say? What you say?
He said any other negative feedback, send it to my email.
Because I ain't gonna read it. No, I think something
read it.
that we do. Like, I think the one thing I want to say to y'all is whatever way you pour into yourself spiritually, be it meditation, be it prayer, just stay in tune with yourself. It's a lot going on.
There's a lot going
It's a lot
on.
going on for
Yeah.
minorities. It's a
True
lot
story.
going on for women right now. Just pour into yourself, baby, because tomorrow this could all be over and you'll be sitting here like, man,
What the
right? So just pour into yourself, stay prayed up. I'm sending positive vibes to everybody. Everybody be going through. Just keep your head up. It's a lot. Life is hard.
True story. But we're here to help you get through it, though.
Absolutely.
hell?
And if you need therapy, there are options for free therapy. Get therapy, y'all. Some of y'all need some Zoloft for your anxiety, some Prozac for your bipolar.
Or some good weed, man. You might just need to put one in the air. Get you a gummy. You know what I'm saying?
However you pour into yourself, please pour into yourself.
I pour via liquor, but that's just
some
me.
melatonin, some sleepy time tea, whatever gets you through.
Kiana Woods, great topic. Hey, Sora KD, no matter what, put yourself first so that you can be available to others. Look at the deltas.
Boo.
Look at the deltas.
Hey,
linking
the Grizz
up.
always look out. We linked up this weekend. Ooh, I didn't tell you I was gone this weekend. Hey,
Cutting
I
up.
know, yeah, I know where you was at.
everybody knows it's in Alexandria, Virginia.
Yeah,
all right. Shanice also says the House of Omen joint ball. She has tickets, so those.
I got tickets. Y'all need to buy them, please. That's all I have to say on that.
All righty.
just put it on my tab. I got you later.
Okay.
Everybody ticket? Oh, you take my ticket? Bet. No problem.
No,
That ain't what you said. That ain't what you
put it on my tab.
You said put it on my tab.
That's
Everybody
gonna
heard
be a
it.
big tab.
No,
Because I got 7 tickets I have to sell.
No, put
So,
my ticket.
y'all, you want to
Put
sit
my
at KD's table? Holla at me. Danny
Put my
got tickets.
ticket.
Shanice got tickets. Any daughter from Omen Court, number 132, has tickets that we need to sell.
When is the ball?
Thank you.
Please
September 20th and
20th?
21st.
Okay.
The weekend of September 20th. Come hang out with the daughters and nobles of the Oasis of Flint. We're going to have a good time. We really are. The Lord be with us. We're going to have a good time.
Yes,
Jersey
indeed.
party on Friday night, ball
shit.
on Saturday.
You bringing back a throwback?
Oh, yeah. The throwback jersey dress. Got it.
Okay. You going to throw some Melissa song with it?
You know, I need to find me some jellies. That's what I want, some jellies.
There you go. See? Anyway, it's time to head out, everybody. But I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. We appreciate having y'all once again. I'm Giggs with my homeboy J Mo and my homegirl K Dizzle. So with that, I'll holla.
Peace
See y'all
out.
later.